right to object, and Mr. Frank I will to take it forward in a second. I just want to also join the chairman in congratulating the staff. This is the hardest working staff that I've ever seen in my career. The effort that's put in on a bipartisan basis. This is the most cohesive and professional staff that I've seen. I've been up here on the Hill for over 40 years. And I just want to say that Jennifer Miller and David Pomerantz worked very hard to put this agreement together. We asked for some additional time. Our members wanted a chance to express themselves on some of these very important and sensitive issues that are in this legislation. But it is my judgment that we should not object, that we should accept this agreement and proceed forward and finish this legislation.
Is there objection? Yes. Jim is recognized.
Mr. Speaker, I am, I guess, a dissenter in this orgy of self-congratulation, and I want to explain why, and I may not object if I have a chance to explain why, but if I can't explain, I have to object, so that's the choice. I either explain or object. I object not to the UC at this point, but to the self-congratulation that the majority is engaging in because they said they had such a, quote, open process. In fact, the refutation of that was best stated by the gentleman from Kentucky. He just said, we've debated the whole government. Yes, we have, and very inappropriately. To debate the whole government and to debate fundamental policy issues under the guise of a budget, under the constraints of a budget debate, in not a whole week, 2.5 days so far, maybe we'll get a third day, we have dealt with the most fundamental questions. In the jurisdiction of the committee on which I serve, issues came up under great constraint. The reform bill of last year has been damaged by what was done here. Fortunately, it will never become law. And we were constrained because we had to choose between the SEC and the IRS. That's not the way to legislate. This was not an open process. Yes, you could offer amendments. You could offer amendments in a very narrow compass. You could offer amendments according to the jurisdiction of subcommittees. The jurisdiction of subcommittees is somewhat accidental. It doesn't determine public policy. And yes, we are talking about it now. We are boasting about debating the whole government. Did you, my colleagues, listen to the UC? You'll get to debate whole aspects of the government tomorrow for 10 minutes. We are the model of democracy. The next thing you know, they'll be rioting in parts of the world so they can have 10 minutes per issue to debate fundamental issues. This is a travesty. I very much objected to this procedure. My leadership, for which I have great respect, had asked me if they could go forward. I am prepared to allow that because of some conditions. One is that I am confident that this awful, distorted, ill-thought-out process has produced a bill that will never see the light of day. And by the way, no one should be surprised. We are now going to recess after we finish with all these other parts of the government in 10 minutes per issue. Oh, up to an hour for a couple of important ones, 20 minutes for some only moderately important ones. The Senate will then get this with 4 days left before it expires. Now, no one realistically thinks this is going to happen, so perhaps some of the constituencies were mollified by this show. But I want to stress again, this has been an awful procedure. The gentleman from Kentucky is right. We have debated the whole government, fundamental issues that go far beyond budgetary issues, in 3.5 days. We will have debated fundamental issues in 10 minutes. This is openness. This is a travesty of the democratic process. So, Mr. Speaker, because I have been given a chance to explain why I think this is a terrible process, why I am going to say now, I don't expect the Senate to accept this. We will have to come back and do it again. There'll have to be, I assume, a short-term extension. I want to give notice now to all parties. I will object strenuously at every procedural opportunity to any effort to repeat this travesty. So, in respect to the ranking member and to the minority whip and the minority leader and to others and to people who work so hard, and to the poor, long-suffering staff, yes, I will remove my reservation, and I will not object. Having made it clear, once the Senate gives this awful product an appropriate burial, I will not be a party to its resuscitation. Mr. Speaker, I remove my reservation.
Yay!